Mhm.
Todo este parte de un plan. Esto es para darte con flow animal. Esto es para comerte este pan. Muévete al ritmo del bam, bidi bam. Bam, bidi bam, bidi bidi bam, bam.
Hello, we are. It is Wednesday, live at 5 p.m. Kenya time, 2 p.m. Ghana time, 3 p.m. in Morocco, 6 p.m. Dubai, 7:30 India, 10 a.m. New York, and 7 a.m. California time. Every Wednesday, every week. This is Queen Mother Speaks, and I am your host, Ella Dashanaba King. Welcome to the month of April. We've now gone into the second quarter of the new year. I want to welcome all of our guests in the show today. And basically, the guests on the show today will be myself and your lovely co-host, who you who you are used to. I was certainly hoping that this cough would be gone before we got to showtime today, but it's here. So we'll do our best to minimize the coughing as much as possible. Our theme for this 2024 year, we decided to use the same theme as the UN Women's theme, which is invest in women, accelerate progress. Invest in women, accelerate progress. I'd like to give a shout out to Solo and Jennifer Sosu in Florida, also to Marilyn Lewis, Kathy King Rosemary, who are now living in Georgia. Hello to you. We also give a shout out to both Nana and Coach Ra. Um, and we will tell you who is with us in the studio here today. Before we go any further, I want to say that I'm very glad to be with you, and I'm so grateful for all of our fans who tune in week after week after week. We do have two very wonderful women that hopefully we'll be featuring for you today. Coach Ra is in studio. Let's bring her in.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening in some parts of the world. Greetings, blessings, and salutations. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be among the living. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Back to
That,
you.
thank you, sweetheart. And that is just so wonderfully said, to be in the land of the living.
Of the
That
living.
alone is a blessing in and of itself, and we're grateful for that. Um, we're going to go to a little news today. Well, first off, let's say what's going to be happening on the show. Coach Ron would be coming in and speaking to us about the one and only Barbara Jordan, who is a woman among women. This woman, you talking about a pioneer. Of course, both of our women we're featuring today are phenomenal women in their own way, and yet both of them also very much are pioneers. Okay, so what we're going to be covering here in the month of April, this entire month, we'll be talking about, well, in the month of April, we do experience International Jazz Day. So we'll be doing a special about that. In the month of April, we also have National Poetry Month. So we'll be bringing on some poets. Coach Ra, are you okay?
Yes, I'll be all right. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. All right. Also in the month of May, we have Cancer Control Month. So we'll be speaking on those things. You will also know that in this month, we have a day that's called April 1, which is known as April Fool's Day. in many places, not just in America, but in other countries and cities around the world, they've now started celebrating that April. Have you ever had anybody to fool you for April Fool's Day? Or are you the one pulling the prank on the other person? How did that feel for you? And what did you do about that? Okay. So also in the month of April, it is considered a month of rebirth and renewal. Rebirth and renewal. So the spiritual meaning of April revolves around embracing new beginnings, personal growth, and rejuvenation. As we're now in the fourth month of the new year, right? And we will get back on New Year just in January. I think it's very important for us that we at ourselves at the end of every month to see where are we in terms of what's our goals. Now, if you haven't planned any goals in the month of January or February, hopefully you're getting ready to do them now because we're still in the part so much of the month. But in a moment, we'll be fully into the year. You know why? Because we'll be in full bloom as we'll be in the spring season. And again, this spring season uh, signifies rebirth. It signifies with the start of something new. All right. We can also know that in the month of April that it gets its name, April, from the Latin word aperio, and that word means to open or to bud. Okay. And we know that in the month of April, it's known pretty much for plants really begin to bloom and plants really beginning to grow. Ra, are you going to be able to do the wash your hands today?
Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'm having challenges with this laptop.
No
Go
problem.
ahead.
We'll
You
okay,
go
we will.
ahead because
Okay, so we want to say to you to continue to wash your hands, keep yourself safe, and be alert. And again, we thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak Show, a safe space for information and expression. Bonga Dada Bonga is a new platform and it is now on hiatus. We will be bringing it back at some point, but don't forget Bonga Dada Bonga, which is a platform for women's voices. If any of you are interested in becoming a part of Bonga Dada Bonga, just send us a message and let us know. But Bonga Dada Bonga is on Thursdays at 7 p.m. All right. Again, thank you for tuning in. Honorable Margaret Tolley to the Queen Mother Speak Show. We have Shreya, Rosamora, Anju, Jay Mwangi, Parita, Rose Okalo, Maurice Obuyu, and Estelle from Kenya. Let me say to you that our Maurice, who is a young man, a former student, if you will, at USIU University, who's now completed his studies and he's out in the world. He started an entrepreneurship program with his partner, and Maurice recently became a father. So we're going to have him on the show at some point to talk to us and tell us what it feels like to be a brand new father. And he did have a baby boy. And pretty soon, Queen Mother will be sharing some of those pictures with you. What is Queen Mother Speaks? What is this show? Well, it's a community platform for conversations and dialogue that matter. Our aim in the show is to inform, to ignite, to educate. We want you to laugh. We bring you wisdom from the elders, and we bring you an inspirational verse every single week. So that's what Queen Mother Speaks is about. We also give you information about youth in Africa. We featured various young Africans who are in business across the continent. We will continue to do that. We will be bringing on expats who talk about their experience in relocating to whatever country they may have relocated to, or those in Africa who expatriate to other places in the world. For example, let's say Ghanaians who may now be living in America, or Kenyans who may be living in France. Yes, people are moving about and people are moving around. From the Art of Living Institute, we learned about breathing. I had heard about breathing before that, but I really didn't get into it until I met with the Art of Living Institute people. This was during the pandemic. And I'm telling you, those exercises that they taught me really saved my life. So we decided to incorporate breathing techniques into the Queen Mother Speaks show. And here's how we do that. First off, you will breathe in through your nose to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we exhale through the nose or the mouth very slowly to the count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll repeat it and we'll repeat it again. So I'd like for everyone in the studio, as well as those of you tuning in, to breathe along with us. And once again, I'm saying hello and thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speaks. We're right now jumping into our breathing meditation. Ready? Okay, ready. Let's go. Hold. Again. Okay, we'll try one more. Wonderful. Queen Mother Hope, that was also wonderful for you. Thank you for engaging with me in the breathing exercises. Because one of the things we've learned about breathing is that you can touch your own inner peace. Through breathing, you can also lower your very own blood pressure. Try it out. I've tried it out. You can actually breathe to the extent that you can lower your own blood pressure. There's probably no doctor who will tell you that, but Queen Mother is telling you that because it is something that I have done. I've actually been in the doctor's office and it was time for them to take my pressure. And before they did, I just sat quietly and started breathing and started breathing and started breathing and started breathing. So I can say to you that it does work. Okay. And the physical changes in your body when you're breathing can also affect your mental state. And it can also help you concentrate on your breath, bringing it into a present state of mindfulness. All right. Thank you for the breathing. Right now, we're going to prepare to go into our reading meditation for today. I'm going to read the meditation and I'm going to ask you to listen with an open heart as I give you this title. And the title is, I am the future of my past. I am the future of my past. I am the future of my past. Take a moment and reflect. Think back 5, 10, or even 15 years ago. Do you remember what you were doing? Whatever the thoughts that you were having, whatever you were doing and feeling, they all brought you to this point right now, here, today. You are living the future you once dreamed. You created your future because you lived it. You are the caregiver of the past, caregiver of the present, and caregiver of the future, which are all happening now. Embrace your mystical abilities and transcend all types of societal limitations. I live in the future now. I rest in the wonder and awe of who I am. I lift up my power, my potential, and ability to live in the realm of my reality, okay, that is fully anchored in my spiritual nature. All my power is in the now, right now. I use all my power to create the world that I wish to see. My future is now, and it is good. Thank you, power in me, as me, through me, around me, through the Christ within, and so it is. Our scripture reading for today: the thing that has been is that which shall be, and that which has been done is that which shall be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Our meditation reading from today is from a wonderful little booklet that's become a part of my life. It is called The Daily Thoughts from the Hill, published by Hillside Chapel and International Truth Center, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. When you find yourself in America, you find yourself in Georgia, you find yourself in Atlanta, Hillside. Check out Hillside. Thank you very much for that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to find out from Coach if she's prepared for her presentation. All right, I think I saw a head nod of saying yes.
I
All
am
right,
prepared.
very good, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to bring to you Coach Ra, and she's going to be speaking to you about the late, dynamic, powerful pioneer, Barbara Jordan. Thank you, Coach Ra.
Thank you, Queen Dashanava King. I too am also or have been under the weather, believe it or not. A physician,
Mm.
heal thyself. And I have my arsenal of herbs, my lemons, my lime, and or it's all sorts of situation going on here. So bear with me. But
All
I
right, I know I don't have to say this to you because I'm pretty sure that you know, but I will say that my dear friend Max, who's now living and residing in Germany, reminded me to take turmeric and black pepper for this sore throat. So I
oh
don't know.
I wouldn't do black pepper. I would do
Really?
turmeric, ginger, and turmeric, ginger, Bragg's apple cider vinegar, and warm water.
Mm.
I wouldn't black pepper. Believe it or not, black pepper causes inflammation in the cavities of your joints. Black
Well,
pepper.
I've had three health people. I've had three people in health to say to me for this sore throat and chest.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
my chest isn't hurting. It's just um, it's probably inflamed to some degree. But three different health people in different parts of the world have suggested that I sprinkle a little black pepper. They said the black pepper activates what's in the turmeric. However, back over to
No,
you.
no. What
No?
activates is the cayenne pepper. If you're going to do pepper, sprinkle 3 sprinkles of cayenne pepper. Cayenne is much more effective than black pepper. I would never recommend black pepper to anyone
All
because
right. Well,
all
once again, I've received that from three health officials and I'm
yeah,
trying it.
well Doctor
I
Doctor
am trying it.
Doctor
I'll tell you how
Sadie,
it works.
Dr. Sadie and Dr. Paul Goss, black pepper was not part of their regimen. Cayenne pepper.
Okay. All they said to me I was explaining what was happening with this throat, and they said turmeric with a little black pepper.
Turmeric with 3 sprinkles of cayenne pepper. Watch
Thank
me.
you.
Anyway, nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, as you see, there's so many methodologies and approaches to healing. Most importantly, though, what I want you to really, really, really understand is that at least we are trying to do something for ourselves. I have watched in this world where people take care of animals better, treat their animals better than themselves. And that concerns me, where they will take the dog to the vet and pay thousands and thousands of dollars, yet frowned upon doing a detoxification every 4 months to clear out the yuck out of your body and to allow your system to breathe and to maintain optimal health. It's really a simple formula, but nevertheless, black pepper, cayenne pepper, whatever you're doing, if it works for you, then that's what it is. I am here to present to you, and we'll talk about that later because I will be talking, giving 10 minutes of, today is, this month is Cardiovascular Heart Awareness Month. This month is Autism Awareness. This month is Cancer Awareness. Last month was Colorectal Awareness. I mean, there's a lot going on. And so we need to be abreast, stay on top of this, and try to ensure that we are taking responsibility and accountability for that which we are in control of. And that is ourselves, our family, and our community. We are in control of ourselves. And so that first accountability and responsibility must always be pointing towards self. Self-preservation is a law. Self-preservation is a law. And Granny always said, did we ever notice anyone jumping in the coffin when anybody died? And secondly, have you ever noticed a U-Haul behind a hearse? You cannot take the possessions with you. Okay, Barbara Charlene Jordan, born February 21st, 1936, and expired on January 17th, 1996, was an American lawyer, educator, and politician. Barbara was a Democrat. She was the first African American elected to the Texas Senate after Reconstruction, the first Southern African American elected in the United States of Representatives, House of Representatives, and one of the first two Americans elected in the U.S. House from the former Confederacy since 1901, alongside Andrew Young of Georgia. Barbara Jordan was one of the first Black and LGBTQ women in Congress, elected in 1972. She was a gifted orator.
That she was.
She was brilliant. She spoke at the Nixon impeachment hearings and 2 Democratic conventions in which she tore down the House.
That's what I heard.
I remember. I remember. The next one to match Barbara Jordan was, of course, you know, President Barack Hussein Obama. When he showed up at the convention, was that 20?
I don't recall the exact year.
Yeah, I don't know the exact year, but I know that he showed up and he tore down the House. While not a secret among her friends, she kept her 20-year relationship with Nancy Earl out of the public eye. No one, very few people knew about her private life.
Yes.
Uh, so that's something to be said. She never made that public. And as the first black woman from a southern state to serve in the U.S. House of Representatives, Barbara Jordan paved the way for many future leaders. She was a member of the Democratic Party. Jordan represented Texas in Congress from 1973 to 1979. She began a political career as a Texas state senator in 1966, becoming the first black woman to hold that position. She was the first of many things. Jordan was born in Houston, Texas. She earned a law degree from Boston University, where Dr. Martin Luther King also earned his degree, and worked on John F. Kennedy's presidential campaign in 1960. As a state senator, Jordan was elected president pro tempore of the Texas State Senate in March 1972, meaning she would act as governor of Texas when the governor and lieutenant governor were out of state. In June that same year, she became the first black woman to serve as governor of any U.S. state. When she was sworn in for the day, it was during her time as a state senator that she met her longtime partner, Nancy Earl. In 1972, Jordan was elected to represent Houston's House 18th District of Congress. Jordan joined other prominent women such as Shirley Chisholm and Bella Abzug in the House of Representatives. Including Jordan, there were a total of 15 women serving in the 93rd Congress in session between 1973 and 1975. Powerful. A lot of bills were passed. A lot of work was done. A lot of work was done. Work. Today, in the 118th Congress, there are 153. As a member of Congress, Jordan focused on expanding civil rights protection. She was a civil rights activist, and she was a defender of equality, justice, and economic parity.
Yes,
Thank you so
indeed.
much.
I am delighted when I hear about the life and the work of one Barbara Jordan. I heard of her when I was living in Los Angeles, attending UCLA as a student. I remember that was my first time ever hearing of Barbara Jordan. And I'll have you to know, thanks to Maxine Waters, I actually got to meet Barbara Jordan. Maxine Waters had started an organization in Los Angeles that was called the Forum, FORUM, just that, the Forum. And it would meet once a month at a hotel. And Congresswoman Maxine was bringing to us people in Congress because she said we needed to know who they were, what their powers were, and what they could and could not do for us. So in order to educate us, she would bring women and men from Congress to this monthly luncheon. And I think we paid something like 15 or 20 bucks. And I'm telling you, once the tickets were sold, that was it. Either you got in or you didn't. And it was the most exciting thing for me at that juncture in my life to attend those luncheons on Saturday. I think there were 11 or 12 for a few hours, and you get to meet various people in government. And I remember seeing this tall woman. She didn't seem to smile a lot, but when she spoke, she was very direct and very to the point. And after the luncheon was over, I was fortunate again but I was able to get a chance to shake her hand. Now, politics and that kind of stuff was not an interest for me at that particular juncture in my life, but I remember being overly proud of meeting this woman through Maxine Waters. And as time went on, I think I got to hear her speak 2 or 3 times more. Maybe not even in the same state. But my hat goes off to Barbara Jordan for being a woman who decided early what she wanted and what she didn't want. And she stepped fully into what she wanted and kept her private life very private.
Well, during that time, it wasn't popular. It wasn't a popularity contest to make no announcement about what your private life was all about.
Right?
Understanding the times, but what she wanted the focus to be on was the work, the
Doing.
dynamic work
Yes.
she was doing. She was exacting. She was precise.
Yeah.
She was a lawyer.
Hmm.
And so she used the very laws that they reportedly adhere to defend the injustices that existed. What I liked about her was she was fierce.
Hmm. Hmm.
She was a warrior
Hmm.
and she was fearless.
Hmm.
She would challenge you. And like you said, very few people will win an argument against Barbara Jordan. They didn't
Right.
stand a chance. I used to just watch her and watch her and watch her because I really, truly, I think I saw myself. She reminded me of my, spicy. She was spicy, spunky,
Hmm. Yeah.
and she would politely check them.
Yeah.
Uh, may God rest her soul.
May God
And
bless
I believe that her legacy is that she empowered other women
her. Hmm.
to dare to be. Her,
That she did.
Shirley Chisholm, and a few others. Uh, Gall, Gall. Remember she was a reporter on PBS. Gall. I forgot. Anyway, there's a few women
Hmm.
that really have made an indelible mark on everyone, on women's, and whoever dared to want to do had no fear
Hmm.
that if they had the ability and the willingness, that it was possible. And
Hmm.
I really wish that we would get back to organizing some coffee and tea, meet up at Starbucks, and discuss the politics of the day. Because a lot of these politicians are getting away on a free ride.
Hmm.
Although this is information age, the age of information, we don't even know who we are electing into any position in any city, in any state. We
Oh,
don't
this is true.
know, we don't know the people. And we need to really begin to dig a little deep and find out before we enter that ballot box, what is it that we're doing? And and what is your position? And is this person going to be able to deliver? Because they're not delivering. And so we got to clean the house. We got to sweep up, clean up, and refresh. Back to you, Queen.
Oh, thank you so very much. And a few things I'd like to say about the late, great Barbara Jordan is that at some point in her career, she decided that she would take on training others how to enter into this field of
Oh,
politics.
did I?
And that she did.
Yeah.
She also became a professor at I think it was the University of Tech, yeah, University of Texas at
Austin.
Austin. Yeah,
Austin.
yeah. What was her age when she passed?
I believe she was 59.
All
And
right, okay.
I don't recollect what she died from. I don't, but she was always a little bit on the heavy side.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember. You know, she was very private.
Yeah,
She was a very
that she was. That she
she
was.
she, she kept her political life a separate entity from her private life,
Indeed, she did.
and she never intermingled it.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
uh, let me be honest. While doing the research, that's when I found out that I never knew she was
I never knew.
LGBTQ too.
I
I
never
never
knew.
knew.
I never knew.
So that's how professional
She kept her business. Yeah.
professional she was.
What can you tell us about her great grandfather?
Hold on, why don't you do that part? My laptop went
All
down
right.
again.
Well, one of the things that we all remember about the late great thank you and excuse me again. One of the things that we remember about the Barbara Jordan is her great grandfather. Her grandfather was a man by the name of Edward Patton. Okay, this great grandfather, Edward Patton, was one of the several black representatives who served in the Texas legislature during the Reconstruction period. Okay, she attended the segregated Phyllis Wheatley High School in Texas, where a career day speech by Edith Sampson, who was a black lawyer at the time, inspired her to become a lawyer. How about that? I was wondering where that came from, but she was inspired by a woman lawyer who came to her university to speak. All right, so that was one great thing to learn about um, the late great Barbara Jordan. So looks like politics was in her blood.
Politics was in her blood,
Yes.
but I believe more importantly, it was the aberration that she held towards injustices being committed and nothing being done about it. That's what propelled her. And you know, in the South, it was more racist. Well, it was more pervasive and prevalent as opposed to being in the North when it was discreet and under the carpet.
Hmm.
Uh, and so she just felt compelled to be a freedom fighter.
Hmm.
She was a freedom fighter.
She was a freedom fighter. She did grow up in the Baptist church. Her
Yeah.
father was a minister at the church that she attended, and her mother also was one who served as one. Her mother was one who also served very much so in the church, and was and very much influenced her life and her becoming a Christian, and also empowering her to move forward as a woman in business. So we find out again that the person who influenced her to become a lawyer was one by the name of Edith Sampson. Edith Sampson. So at some point, I remember reading that she did go back and she was able to locate this wonderful woman, Miss Sampson. And
Uh-huh.
after she had become a lawyer, she was able to let her know that she, in fact, was the one who inspired her to do that. Okay.
But
Uh,
what we should never forget is that she was a humble public servant.
yeah.
She served from a spiritual perspective.
Mhm.
She was a Renaissance woman.
A Renaissance woman,
A
way
Renaissance.
before her time. And she
Yeah.
took on the first of doing so many things that she wound up doing first. And it's not like she said, well, I'm going to do this because I'm going to be first. You don't even know that you're doing something first sometimes until you actually do it or somebody else points it out. Like, for example, in my own specific family, my sister, Carolyn Louise, AKA Tashmia,
Yeah.
was the first to integrate a white high school in Birmingham in the early 60s. Now we all knew that that was a first because we all passed by that school, Jones Valley, going to our school. We had to pass by the white high school that
Oh,
we were all paying taxes for to go to the
are
black
they
school.
still? Are you guys still doing that museum the thing in this summer to honor Tasmania in Montgomery?
I'll have to find out because there were
I haven't
several
heard. Yeah, because
people working on that. I'll have to see about that. And I don't
yes,
know if it was this summer or later in the year, but I'll get back to you on that for sure.
yeah, because it's a big thing in Alabama.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a big
See,
thing.
we want to move. First. Let me just take a moment and um, and acknowledge people in the chat room. We've got a nice, healthy little crew there in the chat room and sending in questions that we're posting on the board. Okay, here we've got one that says, ah, okay. All right, so we're going to go to discussing well, let me look at the time. It is now 5:41, so yes, we have time to discuss the next guest. And hopefully we'll get some overlays on the screen of her. She's such a beautiful woman. Pioneering entrepreneur, OPHELIA DEVORE. OPHELIA DEVORE. OPHELIA DEVORE. Remember that name. She was born on August 12, 1922, in Edgefield, South Carolina. Her father was one by the name of John Walter DeVore. He was of German and French ancestry. And her mother, Mary Emma Strother, was a combination of, get this, Native American and African American. So in that first paragraph, we're getting a sense of this woman, OPHELIA DEVORE, having her mother and father French, German, Native Indian, African American. What a combination. What a combination. And what a beautiful woman. Okay. She attended a segregated school until age 9. And from there, she was moved to another state, which was Winston-Salem, North Carolina. While she was there, she was living with her uncle by the name of John Strother. You know, I'm giving you this story, but I do know that this story is much better given to you by Nana. And I'm not going to tell you why. I think I'm going to hold up on this story because as I'm reading through this story, don't give away the beans. Don't give away the beans. Okay, we're going to hold that story until our co-host Nana Adezewa, also known as Teresa Kim, is back in the house. All right, so I'm going to move away from that story and save that story for Nana. All right, that's what we'll do with that one. But what I want to take a moment and speak to you on is something that happened for me this resurrection season. Queen Mother has been in Kenya now for more than a decade, and I've attended several churches off and on. And last year, I actually joined a congregation by the name of House of Transformation. I joined it. First off, let me say I passed their sign sometimes when I'm out walking. Now, know that when Queen Mother's into her stroll, she does a good hour to 90 minutes of walking. So I passed by that sign, House of Transformation, but I never checked it out. And then one day at a business meeting, one of my colleagues, lady by the name of Miss Jane Mwangi, who in fact is the CEO / chairman of an organization called Crown Women Rising, and they were having an event, and I was attending the event. She and I met. We started chatting and we started talking, and before long, I would be getting flyers from Jane about House of Transformation. The flyers always looked exciting. Some of them were video clips, and I always intended to go. one day my dream came true. I got a chance to attend the House of Transformation Church. Very lively church, the kind of church that believed that singing and dancing belong in the church. I believe singing and dancing belong in the church. So I like that. I like the fact that they had music also in the church. I believe that music started with and belonged in the church. So needless to say, a very lively church. And Queen Mother attended that congregation for about almost a year before she decided that she would make that her church home. And I did make House of Transformation, HOT, or HOT as we call it, my home church now here in Nairobi, Kenya. I am delighted to be a member of this church. And I thank my good friend Jane Mwangi for inviting me to come and check out this particular ministry. As we are in the resurrection season, House of Transformation Church had an international convention whereby we had people from 15 different countries. Forget about all the other cities in Kenya. 15 different countries around the world to show up at our church for this Easter convention, as they called it. One of the things that they featured during the Easter convention was many pastors across the globe who are all part of the House of Transformation ministry in various places in the world. That's something I like about it already. Is I like wherever I go, I can always look to see if there's a home church for me in that city, in that country. On Easter Monday, one of the activities that we had at House of Transformation was a baptismal service. So I talked to my sisters, both Lady Mo and Tashmia, about the fact that they would be having a baptism, and I was considering it. And they both said to me, "Yes, Queen Mother. Yes, Queen Mother. Do it. Do it. Do it." I said, "Okay." And then as I spent a little more time in my own spirit, it became clear to me that indeed I was going to be baptized. So the day came, Easter Monday, 9 a.m., Queen Mother was at service, and it was a full house and a full service. And we enjoyed everything. At some point, we got our tap on the shoulder. It was time to go and change clothes for those who were going to be baptized. And as I dressed in the outfit to go into the water, I wasn't scared or anything. I was like, just, Lord, make this moment for me so special that I'll remember it for the rest of my life. And I want to remember it for the rest of my life so that I can refer back to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the time came. There were, I don't know the exact number, I'm going to say about, sure, maybe 80, 90, 100 people who were baptized on Monday. Over half of them were youth. And I'm talking young people who may have been less than 20 years old. Most of them were like kids. And then a few grown folks. Of course, I think I was the grownest person of all in the lineup. But it's okay with me. I was just glad and happy to be there. And so it came my turn to get in the water, and I did. And I had begun my prayers and my songs. And before I knew anything, I was dipped in the water. And then they lifted me and brought me back up. And then there were those who were there to help lift me out of the water on the other side. And then from there, I was happy in my soul. I just remember praising the Lord and saying, "Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Bless me, Lord. Thank you, Lord. It is so." And I just felt good in my spirit. I felt not only just the Spirit of God all over me, I felt light. And I felt, I can't explain it, but there was a joy that came over me. And I still have that joy today. Still have that joy today. So it was a great baptismal service. It was captured on film, and I will show it to you perhaps next week. Just that moment that I had for that baptism. And then after the baptism service was over, we changed back into our clothes and went back into the congregation and started doing things and doing with. And then shortly thereafter the service was over, I took time out to greet a lot of the guests from there were people from India, Botswana, Rwanda, Uganda, Mozambique, Ghana, Morocco, USA. In fact, I think we had 3 or 4 pastors from different congregations in America. And I did get a chance to meet them. So all of that for me was very wonderful and very great. So Monday afternoon, I came home and I was still feeling the Spirit of God over my entire body. And I immediately got out of them beautiful clothes and put on some warm, snuggy clothes and got in the bed. And I just began to raise my hand and just thank the Lord more, thanking God more, just thanking the Lord more, and listening to some of my favorite songs. And interesting, that lasted for about 4 or 5 hours until I fell asleep. But once I woke up from that sleep, it was already planted in my head and in my heart, something that I will do for the church in the very near future. We won't expose what that item is, but we'll just simply say that we got a download from Spirit already for something to do in the church. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you for allowing me to share with you. The Queen Mother was baptized on Easter Monday at House of Transformation Church, Nairobi, Kenya, West Africa. Very good. All right. So from there, we're going to go into our announcements and mentions for today. Coach Ra, or shall I take it?
Take it because my laptop keeps locking down. I
Thank you
apologize.
very much. No problem. Okay.
I
So one of
apologize.
the things under our announcements for today, we want to talk about we are in an election year and you're going to have to vote one way or the other. I'm not going to make the choice for you on which way you're going to vote. The Queen Mother's going to simply say, whoever you are, please do vote. Vote for your candidate of choice, but please do vote. My candidate of choice would be coming out of the Democratic Party this year. Now, unless something new pops up, you vote from who's available, who's on the ticket. You make your choices from the ticket. You can decide that I don't want to vote at all. That's a choice you have at all. But Queen Mother would not recommend that you take that choice because it's better that you say something than to say nothing. And who am I to tell you what happened with our forefathers and foremothers, making this slot available for us to vote? Vote your choice, but Queen Mother's going to ask that you vote. In my case, it would be Democrat. And if you want to know what's going on in the Democratic Party, you can go to democratsabroad.org. Go online to democratsabroad.org and find out what's going on. You can also just go to in America, democrats.org and see what's going on with the Democratic Party. Soul Vegetarian Restaurant right here in Nairobi, Kenya. The food there is not only good to you, it's also good for you. We invite you to check them out. To order, you can call 0742-654-810. Again, 0742-654-810. Queen Mother's happy to say that usually once a quarter, we host a vegetarian cooking class at Soul Vegetarian Restaurant, where you can come and learn how to take care of yourself and eat healthy. Okay, Miss Aisha Defala, who is Kenya's blood ambassador, reminds you to please visit the depository bank near you and deposit and donate some blood. Why? We want it. We need it everywhere around the world. And in speaking on that, I'm just going to be take a moment and thank Dennis and two others who came forth over the past week when Queen Mother was campaigning for blood for our dear sister Thelma, who takes she takes a O positive, which I understand is a rare blood type. We were campaigning for her over the past 2 weeks, and thank you for those who came forward to make that blood donation. Self-healing challenge for 6 months with Coach Rob. It started January, it'll go through June. You can find out more about that by going to 0001 346 244 7887. That's right, Self-Healing Challenge. It's still on, and it'll be on to June. Yes, Coach.
I want to add one more thing. April 5th begins the 75-mile walk for heart awareness from the American Heart Association. It's a challenge, it's a fundraiser. I am walking 75 miles in memory of all those who have gone before me and have died, regrettably, from preventable diseases. I am urging most of you, all of you, you can walk in place. You don't even have to step out of your house. You can stand right there and walk in place in your home. Count your steps. Support my challenge through via Herbalist Educator. And I also want most of us to recognize that it is time. If something is not working, if something is slowing you down, if you are tired, irritable, unable to think clearly, then shouldn't that let you know that it is time to make some changes? And so therefore, we cannot, as human beings, be one of the most intelligent species on the planet, yet a lot of us are very sick. And so the reason why I'm trying to take my time to explain this is because in 2025, the Center for Disease Control 2022, 2023, 2024 report on diabetes, it has been projected that 75% of the population will be diabetic. And that there will not be enough.
Which population? Everybody?
Three-fourths of the population will be diabetic, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. There will not be enough dialysis machines or dialysis centers to contain those unsurmountable amount of people in supposedly what is known as one of the most technologically advanced science civilizations. It is not adding up.
All right.
It just doesn't add up. And we really, really need to raise the alarm, and folks need to make the necessary mental acuity adjustment and arrest your addictions. Get rid of sugar and get rid of salt. We'll talk about this next time. Thank you so much. Back to you, Queen.
Thank you very much. We're just a few minutes before closing for today, but we want to say that BF Summa products, supplements are available by calling 0796-509-965. Once again, BF Summa supplements. You can order. Call 0796-509-965. The recent disaster that happened in Ghana has wreaked havoc on the lives of countless other people. Over 100,000 people in Ghana have been displaced in the Volta region due to the recent flood disaster. Queen Mother is asking you to please join with me as we're raising money for the over 100,000 people that's been displaced. And PESA number locally here in Kenya, plus 254 1133 224. Once again, the M-Pesa number here in Kenya is plus 254 1133 14224. And you can also go to the GoFundMe page, which is GoFundMe.me.ef51cc. We'll put that. We will put that in the chat room. The M-Pesa Let's see if it's here already. Let me just take a look and see if it's there. Okay. So
Queen,
you
can
can
I say something?
and let me finish with the fundraiser.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So you got the M-Pesa number locally and the GoFundMe, and it's called the Queen Mother Red Cross Ghana Flood Relief. Queen Mother Red Cross Ghana Flood Relief. You can find it on the GoFundMe. Okay, over to you, Coach.
Let us all congratulate Queen Mother Dashanaba King on her baptism, and may God continue to utilize her in a mighty, mighty way. And I know that that's special. And so God's continued blessing, protection, and divine providence.
All right.
Congratulations.
Well, take a moment and say hello to some of the people tuning in to the Queen Mother Speaks today, show today. We appreciate that, Nana. We thank you for being in the chat room. Just know this, I know I have more blackouts than anybody, but just know that blackouts is not limited to Africa. They can happen anywhere in the world. And so Nana's dealing with some challenges right now. We look forward to having her back in the show next week. Yes, Coach.
Very, 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 very important. I apologize. Our heartfelt, sincerest condolences to Lou Gossip Jr., who passed a couple of days ago. We cannot, we're going to have to talk about him a little bit on another show, but may God enfold him and his family in his everlasting arms. Yes. And he was also an icon. He was an icon. And a social.
That fine brother did live in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And Queen Mother found him quite a few times in Hollywood. Yes, I did know the one and only, that fine brother. May he rip out. May he rip out. May he rip out. So right now, we're going to go ahead and close the show the way we always do, with our kisses. And we throw out kisses, everybody, because we believe that love is the most healing force in the entire world. And on a daily basis, 24 hours in a day, there's always somebody somewhere who can use some love. In fact, just recently, I remember having the opportunity to be with a group of women from the Women in Business organization. And at the end of the day, what we wound up doing was giving love to each other. So come on, Coach Rock. Let's send this love into the world, starting with our left hand.
Namaskar. We salute the divinity within you and us. Ashe, Ashe.
You, and we appreciate you. This is Queen Mother Speaks We see you next week. Thank you for tuning in.